Welcome back, everyone, to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we have our first mailbag episode of the year. We got some good questions from you guys today that we're going to go over. Some start sits, some trade questions, and a little bit of, actually some keeper questions too. So we are going to go over all of those right away. Let's jump into it, Jeff. We'll do the trade questions first. How about that? We got Bobby. He says, I'm 2-4. Should I trade Christian McCaffrey? My other running backs are Kenneth Walker and Alvin Kamara. That's tough because, first off, at this very moment, right now, we don't know what Christian McCaffrey's like, what the extent of the injury is. Is he going to miss time? Will it be a lot of games? I don't feel like it doesn't feel like it was that big of an injury. Could be wrong. But that's one aspect, I think, of this.
Yeah, I mean, you really never know with Christian McCaffrey, right? Little injury kind of worries me a little more about him just because he's, even soft tissue injury can really keep him out. And they're a Super Bowl contending team, so you're not going to rush him back to action if you don't have to. In saying that, I didn't think it was a big deal either. And the other one is he is going to be ranked as like the best running back for the rest of the season. I would like to know, because your running back situation is really good.
I think it's solid, yeah.
I would really have loved to know where the holes in your offense are, like your team, or is it the fact that did you have people that just haven't, like Kamara showed up late, right? Christian McCaffrey probably booed your team. You're 2-4. It doesn't take you out of the running. I would love to know if you're only two games back. In my mind right now, I hold out for one more week. But that's the problem. If he misses 1 week and then you lose anyway, that was one more. You weren't going to pull off the trade before this, I'll say. But I feel like you have to. I would try to keep him because I really do think Christian McCaffrey is the difference maker. I don't know what you're going to get that's going to make the difference up. Your wide receivers must be in real bad shape.
Yep. Yeah, I think you hold that. I think 2-4 is not that bad. It's not great. You're not obviously loving your start, but you're not out of it by any stretch. Like, you're still there. And from what I'm seeing, it looks like the injury, it's not a long-term thing. It says it's more of a pain tolerance thing. So I don't think you're going to be out too long. I think you have the running backs to hold you over in a week or two. And what are you going to get? Like, there's no sure things.
Well, there isn't. I will say this, though. For Christian McCaffrey, I can get 3 starters. Like, that's what I'd be looking for something that big. You could probably get someone that has 2 starting caliber quarterbacks. Once again, this is difficult without knowing the team. But you would think that you could get 2 wide receivers and a quarterback because they're probably only giving up 1 maybe that is starting on your team if you're going for like the high-end team, which is who you're giving Christian McCaffrey up for, but it's going to make them better. That is probably what I would be holding out for. If it's literally just 2 guys, like if you're getting a wide receiver and a QB or a tight end, I don't think that the difference would be enough.
No, I'm with you. All right, next one. Michael says, should I trade Derrick Henry? It looks like Spears is getting a lot of snaps. And that's true. Spears has been playing. He had 56% of the snaps in week 6. He had 50. He's been in the game. He's been 50% of the snaps in 5 of the 6 weeks. So he's definitely playing. But Henry's still been, pretty good, I think, for fantasy, especially in standard scoring, where I don't think, though, the trade value is going to bring you back a lot necessarily with Derrick Henry right now, because people are on this, he's fallen off. Actually, the perception of him, I think, is actually worse than how he's actually playing. It's a weird thing. I was seeing some stuff like on Reddit last week. People like, basically, Derrick Henry's just trade him for whatever you can get. He's done. He's not, though. He still had 97 yards and a touchdown this past week. Like, he's not done. Spears is definitely, he's not Derrick Henry of his prime. But I don't think you can trade him because I don't think you get any kind of value for it. But I think he's still fine. He's solid.
Yeah, I will. I agree with everything you're saying. I think that is absolutely correct. I'm not so sure you can't get value for him. Like, I think you're right that he is not Derrick Henry of old. I mean, if you look at
the trades that I was seeing, it's like, geez, people are just trading him for scraps.
Yeah, I'm not willing to do that, but I do wonder if you throw his name out there for a, someone's desperate, someone has an injury, someone needs to kind of get going.
Target one of those guys.
If you're already a good team and then you're looking to amplify that, Derrick Henry does feel like a guy at the late end, like the end of the season, fantasy season. Maybe they'll use him a little more. I'm less worried, and this is why. Spears we like a lot.
Yeah.
And he is going to start eating into that, but that's because they're trying to save Derrick Henry for when it matters. And right now, even the last 2 games, the reason why he was so valuable before is because you could count on probably 20 to whatever amount of carries, right? You were hitting that 20, 18, 25, something like that. And the bulk of that, he was going to break off a big run and a touchdown for at least one of them. He has 3 touchdowns this year. Pretty darn good. He only has 2 games that is less than 10 points in standard scoring. Once again, very good. And against Baltimore last week, I mean, he only had 12 carries and he turned that into 97 yards and a touchdown, like you said. All very good numbers. Is he the league-winning running back that you probably thought you were getting at the last year of his healthy years? Probably not quite that, but I think that has more to do with, I mean, look, Tajay Spears could get hurt too.
Mm-hmm.
And then who else? I don't think another running back would get as many. So I agree with you. Am I okay with trading him? Yes. Am I okay with trading him for anything less than a starter if you really desperately need a wide receiver or something of that nature? Like if you're not getting what you need, he is going to be much more valuable.
In standard, he's the 9th running back on the year, so he's still good.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know why everyone is so down on him, but I'm okay with trading him. If you get
the value.
I'm shocked that that people don't think he's worth anything. That's what
it was crazy. I saw a lot of it last week. I'm like, geez, he's not that bad. He's been fine.
He's in the top 10. I mean, I'm blown away by that. Top 10, and you think that.
So what's interesting though, there is talk that it always happens like in October before the trade deadline, especially when a player on his last year of his contract, that he could be traded. The owner who has Derrick Henry and Spears, I mean, that might be awesome.
It could be.
Trade Henry to a team like Baltimore, who needs like a guy
can you
to
imagine,
step in.
And on the last, can you imagine how many carries they would give that guy?
And then you get Henry, and then you get Spears becomes RB1. As a Derrick Henry,
you're hoping
Tajay Spears owner right here, I'm like, oh my God, this could be amazing. So I'm excited. All right, Peter says, I have Puka and Cooper Kupp. Should I trade one or continue to start both? To be honest, I think you can start both.
I would start both. I mean, you would rather have Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows that, right? But Puka, once again, we this was a question no one really knew the answer, and we've had 2 games, and one was great for Puka, the other one not so much. I don't think we know the answer to it yet.
It wasn't great, but he basically dropped the touchdown. So if he catches that touchdown,
no one says anything.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
It was right there. He should have caught it. That's a knock on him though too. He's dropped a few balls, but he catches that ball. It's a totally different conversation. Obviously, Cooper Kupp's the number 1 there. That's not going to go away.
Clear.
But Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods back in the day were able to sustain themselves. He's Robert Woods to Cooper Kupp essentially.
And my question once again, Cooper Kupp could go down. Puka could go down. Either way, I don't like. Yeah. Obviously, if Kupp gets hurt again, it goes right back to Puka, and you feel good that you kept him. My big question with that one would be, realistically, who do I actually think I can get for Puka? Because right now it feels like you're selling low.
Probably not a lot.
And I feel like I start that guy, and if he has another big game, you won't want to trade him, but at least it would give you that option. And he will. Another big game will come around. Like I have no doubt about that. I think I hold tight. I think I start them both.
Yep.
And I think that's probably where the best value is. I don't see unless someone is really, really in love with him and you want to just spread out the wealth and you don't want 2 wide receivers on the same team. I could make the argument for that, but right now I think I would keep him.
Yep. All right. So Bready Spaghetti, he's back. He says his team is 3-3. The Justin Jefferson owner wants to trade him Jefferson for Mike Evans and Zay Flowers. He says, I like the trade and I have a solid team, but I would be thin at wide receiver while Jefferson is on IR. And then also he's like, but will the Vikings rush him back or do they shut him down for the season? That's a possibility. I don't think so necessarily, but it's in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
But here's his team. First off, I'll just say, just looking at it in general, obviously, I still like the trade. Depends on the rest of the team. Like, can you sustain it? Okay. Quarterback is Fields and he is Stroud. Okay. Make that work. Wide receivers are now, you get to start 3, it looks like. He has CeeDee Lamb, Calvin Ridley, Chris Olave. Evans and Flowers are on his bench.
Yeah, this is not a question. And I do understand Olave has been shaky. And,
Yep.
But yeah, 100% do it. I think that's a league-winning move.
Yep.
will they shut him down? I haven't heard anything like that yet.
I think that's just
that's a fear. That's a fear.
Rumors. Yeah.
And yes, your overall strength, like your bench and whatnot, are going to take a hit, and you might lose a game or two until he's back. As long as you can survive that, though, your team is tremendous amount better after you make that trade overall. And right now, if I'm looking at that and you're doing okay, I feel like that changes it from like I'm trying to make the playoffs to I'm trying to win a title. And I love those moves.
Yep. I'm completely on board of doing that trade.
Yeah, that's great. I say I take it. And who knows? I'm guessing the guy that's giving up Jefferson probably needs to win now. And once again, sense. I think it's a win-win for both.
Yep. All right. Next question comes from Sean. He says, "Will Zach Evans be a good play this week with Kyren Williams and Ronnie Rivers out?" Maybe. If you need running backs this week, yeah, I think he's as good of a play as a lot of guys. He's probably in the 20s. I don't really rank that well anymore. Like I throw rankings out there, but not really. Like, so I haven't really looked at it yet. Not worried about it that way, but yeah, you can definitely play him over a lot of guys, which I'm going to bring it into the very next question to see how we would go against another player, which was the next question from Bobby. Says, should I start Zach Evans or Ramondre Stevenson this week? Ramondre Stevenson has been bad, but not necessarily because of him. Just that team is terrible. So Evans or Stevenson? Evans is going against the Steelers. Steelers are 26th ranked against running backs fantasy. Stevenson's against the Bills, who are 23rd ranked. So they're very similar. I think I would probably just say Zach Evans. Let's see what you got.
I agree.
I'd rather take the unknown than the known of the Patriots. And maybe I get burned. Stevenson had a fine week last week because he had a touchdown. But the Patriots have been so bad on offense, I feel like you're going to get that one good Stevenson week for every like 3 or 4. So I had the good week happen last week. He was on my bench on a lot of teams. Like I didn't get to use it. But if I have Zach Evans, I'm going to try him. I'm going to see what there is.
I agree with you. Number one, Stevenson has only been able to get in the end zone twice this year. The Rams have been very, very good at getting, their running backs opportunities at the goal line. I feel like I would much rather take the chance that I just think Evans is a higher risk, like a higher chance of getting a touchdown. I mean, just pure and simple. That's assuming he is the lead back, like we're thinking right now. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. But yeah, why not? I don't know. I mean, if you extrapolate that out anymore, is there anyone else that is kind of another name? Like, how far up does Zach Evans actually go up your list?
Because I'm starting him over Najee because I think Najee's again one of those just nothing's happening, and I'll just let me take that chance and see what happens. So I'll probably start him over Najee, but there's a lot of other guys I'm not going to that are up there. I'm pulling up some ranks here. That probably puts him around 20 for me. I'll probably start him over like Rashad White. Probably over James Cook, to be honest, too. So it's in that kind of range of players, and I think I'd start him just kind of over them. But I would probably take a chance on like a Rashawn Johnson over Evans, I feel like. Why, I don't know necessarily. They're both similar, right? They're both rookies who we really haven't seen much of. But I think I'd probably start Rashawn Johnson. I'd probably I'm going to start Jonathan Taylor. He's still not up there ranked, but I'd probably start him. I think I'd probably start Javonte Williams over him. Stuff, guys like that. But, the Gus Edwards, Stevenson, Rashad White, James Cook, Najee, I think I'm going to start him over those guys.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm right there with you. I think the only other ones, I'm not so sure about Johnson. I'm with you.
No, I get that. Like, yeah, I think I think they're the same. Like, I don't really know. Yeah. That's more of a, in my mind, I feel like I like Johnson more, even though I don't really have much to go off of, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that one threw me. I was kind of looking. The two that I would really be looking hard at, because I agree with you with James Cook, would be kind of in that, when you're talking about that, it would be Brian Robinson and Jerome Ford. Only because I'm
starting Brian Robinson over him.
Okay. I was saying he's going against New York, I believe, and
Ford,
then Indianapolis, I believe, is Jerome Ford.
I probably start Ford. That's interesting though, because Hunt did start to eat into the workload a little bit.
Did, yeah.
So that makes it a little more interesting. But I
do think that's the safer play until we actually get to see the guy.
Yep.
But I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty darn high for a guy we haven't seen play yet.
Yep. So all right. Well, then next question for Michael. He said the Rams just signed Myles Gaskin and Royce Freeman. Are they worth adding? No,
I don't think so.
I don't. It's only interesting in the fact that, okay, how bad are these injuries? Like, is Kyron's injury worse than we think?
Which, yeah, it gives me to the moment where it's kind of like, if you could still trade him, would you? It worries me to that point. But once again,
but this point, so
I'm going blind.
They get two guys in. Obviously, there's two guys down. Kyron's one. Rivers is the other. Rivers is I think a year ending type thing. If Kyron was a bigger injury, Zach Evans becomes way more interesting. If Kyron's injury is longer, but it's not there yet. Because I could see, why can't Zach Evans just step in and be what Kyron Williams is? I don't know. Kyron Williams doesn't look amazing. It just opportunities there. That's all it is.
Yeah, they use him wonderfully.
Yeah, he hasn't been a special player at all. If you really watch him, he's just okay. It's just good opportunity. And they give him the ball in the red zone. Zach Evans could take that over if there was a bigger injury. I don't think it is, though. I don't think it is right now. Next week, maybe we're talking about it a little differently. Yeah. But
I think that was the only other thing I wondered about, too. You have an injury. You've been really, really good in the red zone with your running back. Yeah. But you also get Cooper Kupp back, who could change that. Absolute killer when it comes to that. So you do wonder if they just shift a little more to a pass friendly red zone attack, but we don't know anymore. It's really wait and see. So that's why Zach Evans is a very, very interesting one. If you were going to throw a flyer on Gaskin or no, you're not even going to get either of them. Like, you think both of them are fool's
maybe
gold?
In a 16-team league. Okay. I'd have to go down. No. Can't do it. I'll just say I was proven right on Myles Gaskin big time. I can't believe people thought that guy was a player. But all right, final question we got from FF Noob. He says, "Hi guys, I'm new to fantasy football, and this year has been rough for me. I should have known what was coming after paying $45 and losing J.K. Dobbins in week 1, and Aaron Jones was my running back too. So yeah, it's been rough." He says, anyway, his league is increasing keepers from 2 to 3 next year, and he currently has Kyron Williams for $1, Josh Allen $31, Rashee Rice $7, and Jordan Addison for $14. Which of the 3 do you think are must keeps, and would you suggest using any as leverage to improve my keeper pool? This is 12-team PPR, $300 budget.
$300 budget.
So Josh Allen, $200 budget, 31, to be like, all right, yeah, you're not going to keep him. But 300 is a little more interesting for Josh Allen. But I would say Kyron looks like he should be a keeper for you next year. If it
really only is $1, it's hard to pass that up.
At this point, you should be looking at that. Yeah. But my suggestion would be Rashee Rice. It could change. We're through 6 weeks though, and we keep getting like, okay, it could change. We've seen that about a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And somebody's gonna hit out of that. Rashee Rice, Marvin Mims, all these guys we've talked about every week. Don't know who it is. Yeah. But Jordan Addison, I think he's interesting, but I actually feel like he gets slightly overhyped for what he actually does. But I think I'd trade Josh Allen to a team that could use him now and get keepers from him. Go find who needs a quarterback, and are there potential keepers on that team? I don't know. You have to look at the teams in your league. So take a Josh Allen. Go look at the teams in your league that could use a Josh Allen, and then go see, all right, what young guys do they have? Or what good keepers do they have that I could get from them? That's, I think, the move you make.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think I wouldn't. $31 for a $300 budget, I'd probably keep Josh Allen next year.
Yeah, I'm wondering who else, because him and Kyron I do think are good. The other ones I'm not sure yet. Like you said, Rashee Rice, I have less faith than you do in him, and Addison could be, and I have a feeling he might show out a little more when Justin Jefferson's out, so it might look a little better than what it's going to be. I do wonder if there's guys that have real keeper potential that probably didn't go for a whole lot that you can really target. And I'm wondering if you have to trade, your quarterback, or if you have other assets you can move you can keep him on your roster. And I start wondering about guys that haven't fully hit yet, right? So like Jameson Williams on Detroit has finally come back. He caught 1 touchdown. His numbers aren't crazy, but it does feel like if you have someone that is a legit asset to them, that would be a good keeper that maybe you could get for less than trading away, your quarterback.
That's what you should do. Yeah, look at any usable players in your team that are not. Yeah, I mean, Aaron Jones is one, like you just said. He has Aaron Jones as running back too. He's going to be back. Aaron Jones is actually somebody you could probably trade for keepers. Maybe it's not great keepers, but there's something out there you can get for Aaron Jones.
Yeah, and you can always take the side of, hey, I'm going to load up my bench with a bunch of young guys and wait to see who breaks out at the end. I've done it before. I grabbed like 3-4 guys, and then you're kind of like, well, I can pick one of these guys out of it, and usually you'll get one.
Yep.
But you kind of have to plant the last seeds in order to get that one.
All right. Actually, Jeff, one final question.
Sure.
This comes from Craig. Jeff, can your Michigan State Spartans cover the spread against Michigan this weekend? The spread's 24.5. 24.5 is a spread, Jeff.
I'm so afraid of that game. That is going to be heartbreaking. I would love that we would have a rallying cry and State would do something but I think it's just a brutal year. I don't think so. I hate to say it. Usually I think we play the spoiler pretty good against Michigan, but I don't think this is the year.
God, I hope not.
This would be a huge upset that even I wouldn't believe.
I won't be here on this episode next week, but all right, that'll do it. Talk to you guys next time.